You're still on to Signature Morning on Signature TV. Need I remind you again that you should follow us on all our social media handles as Signature TV Officials on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And yes, we are on the newspaper review and we are live 24 hours on YouTube at Signature TV. So we're about to review. We also need your comments. It's not just us, it's you. Remember, I keep reiterating it. It's about you. And we're having this review with no other person than Christian Maduka. Good morning.
Good morning, Chuma. And good morning,
Belinda.
How are you?
I want to bite my tongue trying to pronounce your name, Belinda.
Yeah.
Okay, if you choose that. And that's interesting. You were here again.
Yes, we are. And, you know, like yesterday, I did ask you if one of the things that, well, I would just go straight to the first one on the punch. The fact that Dangote refinery stating that petrol will be exported if marketers cut product.
That's very interesting. Very, very interesting country we find ourselves. I keep asking, like yesterday, Dangote, we started with the whole stories. It was like a serial, you know this soap opera, and it was keep you in suspense. At the point, the housewife will slap the husband, and it's like, join us next week for another episode. So the episode of Dangote Nnpcl is gotten to the season 4.
No, you're counting.
Yeah, season 4 is very interesting. Okay. Nnpcl cannot go and refine fuel with the refineries in Kaduna, Warri, and Port Harcourt. And Dangote just managed to put up a refinery in Lagos. All eyes are on Dangote. The first one I was saying, why should Nnpc say they will be sole buyer of Dangote refined product? As far as I'm a consumer of refined PMS and other crude oil products in Nigeria, it is a sabotage of the highest order. Refine your own, sell. Do what you want to do with it. Leave Dangote alone for what's sake. Because Nigerians are watching. For how many years Nigeria struck crude oil in Nigeria? It has been in the hand of Nnpc. To drill, refine, steal, corrupt, all manner of complexities that are going with the oil and gas sector has revolved around Nnpc. And now, when it seems like, and they got us to 2024, we are buying a liter of fuel, PMS in Nigeria, an average of 1,400 naira. And it's like we have some light at the end of the tunnel where if there has something that will happen to drop it, even if it's to 1,000 naira. And all these people have gathered again there to be sole buyer. Who made the Nnpc sole buyer of refined fuel? And the marketers are threatening that they might not even buy from the man who is doing. And the man said, that's all he can say. Remember I told you what one of the Nigerian great men of the history have said. He said, if you cannot defend me. He was talking to federal government. He was on national TV. It was Odimego Ojukwu. I keep quoting him. He said, tell the federal government, if you cannot defend me, I'll defend myself. So Dangote said, if you cannot buy my product, I will export it. And that's where everybody is pushing. This is all about money. They are not thinking about humanity. Because if they make Dangote to start exporting, we are back to square zero. If it's square one, we are somewhere. But square zero is where fuel in Nigeria will get to 2,000 naira per liter. That's why all of them are going to the bank, smiling to the bank, people are dying. Every aspect of our life revolves around this thing we're talking about. And then Nnpc, where we're expecting them to go and they make it more competitive, more refineries, supply crude oil to more local refineries, stop with destroying even the ones that you call illegal. Because as far as I'm concerned, whatever Nnpc has been doing, keeping 3 major refineries in Nigeria unoperational is illegal.
4 actually.
So, okay. So, it could be more. I'm saying the major, with all our money there, it's just like talking about so many things rotting away. We use huge money. Even at the present day, Nigeria cannot think about building any of those refineries. Why can't you maintain? Abeokuta steel is lying fallow for how many years? More than 20 years. The refineries are the same. Turnaround maintenance every day. They bring project turnaround maintenance. People are there earning salaries. I thought if nothing is happening, they close it down and cut down the expenses on it. But we spend money, and they will leave what they are supposed to do, and they are pursuing Dangote. It becomes very clear. It's not that being critical about what business did they have with Dangote. Let me allow the man breathe for once. Let him even refine 1 liter and sell. Let's start talking about regulating his operations. But even before the refinery begins to operate, some people have gathered and said we will be the monopoly, what they call the buyer, they own the monopoly of buying and distributing. The ones they import at great price that we are paying is not enough. But the one that is locally here, they want to go there now and be the sole buyer. Who asked them to buy for us? Most of us know the location of the refinery in Abuja, Lagos. We can go there and buy fuel, if not for anything. If you have, let you open up. After all, most of these ones that line up in Nnpc reservoirs to buy and distribute even by road from Abuja, from Lagos to Kaduna, at the extreme to Sokoto, to Borono, at great risk. They still do that. And now this one is here. Why not allow the man refine his oil, sell? If he's selling higher, you regulate. You sell at a price competitive to the market. Why all this interest? I don't understand it, and I stand to be corrected. I'm not like the final voice on this. This is solely my own opinion. Something is wrong.
You recall that yesterday they said something a bit not positive about Nnpc. I mean, the chairman coming to say something like it wasn't a positive outlook, you know, from his statement about Nnpc being in want, you know. So putting up this, would it be a way for them of them rather trying to say, oh, see, it's only Dangote that could? Is it also a way to monopolize Dangote's product?
Why? I don't know what they have in mind. I cannot speak. Or those things, you know, like my people speak in a proverb. Only the word that come out of your mouth is your heart we can see. So I'm not a juju doctor that interprets the mind of Nnpc. Yesterday in the headline, they are owing already $6.something billion. And they've told Nigerians they cannot even they don't have credit facility again to import on credit and sell to us. It was clear on our like yesterday. And we are worried. So you leave the log of wood in your eyes and you're showing the speck in Dangote's eyes. And that speck is the only thing that seems to have some hope for Nigerians. And all your concentration, go and concentrate and pay your debt of $6.something billion. Go and refine your oil with your refineries. You are the sole person who even gives the crude.
But
so
because
they hold the knife and
if one wants to really, as Mr. Chris is analyzing, do you think that the money, you know, I know it's a question you're already prompting to ask Mr. Chris, the fact they keep recovering several monies, and they mention it, is this money not enough to even offset the debt without them coming up with these excuses?
I think it's all about this stealing, this thief. They continue to steal. We see them threatening today that they may stop importing. It means they don't even have enough money.
So you don't have enough money to import. You are owing. You have come out clear to say you are bankrupt.
That's an indirect way of saying they are bankrupt, actually.
Or if you owe somebody this kind of money in a business you are into, put your paper, resign. Close down Nnpc. Let's put all our attention on Dangote. But let's not allow Nnpcl and the people there to be the people who will determine what Dangote and the refinery will do. I don't know how much money Nnpcl put on Dangote refinery. And if they have a licensed demand to operate in Nigeria as an ordinary businessman that is here, they should allow him to breathe. And also allow Nigerians to breathe. This is the indirect way of not allowing us to breathe. Knowing that everything we do in Nigeria revolves around fuel and PMS. What is this? We cannot fool all Nigeria. If people, how many people that think about this, unless they find a way of explaining to us what is happening. But if what we have read in the headlines is what is happening, then they have told us that they cannot be trusted.
I think they're already threatened by the Dangote refinery.
Why should a giant be threatened by simple David if they don't have they don't have a confrontation? If they all go there the same way, because there's confrontation, that's why David killed Goliath. Because if the Goliath has faced his own business and allowed David to be, but they came face to face, they said everybody use their weapon. At this time we are talking about, if Nnpcl is owing $6 billion, they should also approach Dangote and say, give us money to borrow us money to repair this. And there will be a negotiation. All these threats, counter threat, and they are making the life of Nigerians. Because if you remove Nnpc and remove Dangote, and we still have about 299 million Nigerians to think about. So why not sort this out if they really care? My concern is whose interest in all this?
On the Daily Trust, do you think that Ebetokun has merited for his year to be his tenure to be extended by 3 years?
I am not.
Daily Trust says IGP Ebetokun gets 3-year tenure extension. What do you think he has done something?
The horse trading and the politics of Nigeria positions. I just hope it's not what I'm thinking, because we had the rumor that the next person who's supposed to be in this position is not from the favored tribes. The pharaoh who loved these people is dead. So another pharaoh who doesn't love the tribe that should inherit this position is on the throne. So manipulations and negotiations is what is happening. So we are saying, let's hope it's not true. If the federal government, most respected President Tinubu, thinks that this is the right decision, I don't have business. I am not a career policeman. For him to have been there, meaning that he is qualified to be there. But what we are saying, if he is due to go, you are telling us that out of this number of people in Nigeria, is only a way to cool that if he doesn't extend his tenure, Nigeria will collapse. And I think it's wrong. Because we are talking about turn on. That's Nigeria. Nigeria has lived on turn by turn because of our complexities and their numbers. So if you do a child that they do the other child, there will be peace. But it won't come to your turn. The proverb says whenever they are sharing something, if it gets to the turn of the hated person, they will start all over again. Say, no, let's reshare. It's simple mathematics. If we are sharing cola here and I take mine, when it gets to you, if you are the hated person, we say, oh no, bring back that cola. I think you need to start breaking it down again because you won't go. You know, all those manipulations. People are seeing it.
And for how long?
It is storing up in the mind of generations and generations. When you say, when we preach one thing, we do another, we put tension on our country, we have nothing has been at peace. Since we started this issue of tribalizing everything, and we have been divided wickedness has risen, people hate. I've never seen the level of hatred in Nigeria since my life because of these things. People who have existed at one. I've lived in Nigeria that I've traveled around the whole country. I've made friends. I've never been threatened where we live in palpitation, even in your own location, without even leaving your house again, going anywhere. You're not safe. That's the level we have got. And the leaders know. And they still play up these cards. People are dying and they are secure themselves. They go in SUV, big cars, have police, retinue of police, platoon, who guard them with the highest ammunitions. And me and you, they drop those poisons of tribalism and hatred among us. And we have not said we have common enemy. That's my point.
Okay, do you think that this decision by our president is a strategic trend that is glaring in the face of all Nigerians?
We are just analyzing. We're analyzing and reviewing, my dear. And we said, let it not be. Because we cannot say, it's only the president that knows what he has in his mind. But we say, when you are thinking, and people say, let what you are thinking be in line with the what will benefit the majority of people. That's a start reminding so that you don't go to the other extreme. That's all we say. We are not mouthpiece of the president, but we say, ensure equity. Ensure, because you preach it, ensure that this inclusion of everyone. At this time, all the development of the whole world is talking about inclusion. So leave nobody behind. So if you are leaving some people behind and you have not called them and given them confidence in themselves that they belong to this nation, we used to have, when you say you might, now we have almost all the tribes in Nigeria talking about they're now looking about their self-welfare for themselves. And then that's what makes you a leader. To explore all this diversity and bring them to and use them to the benefit of and greatness of this nation. But when you begin to dance to the tune of a winner takes it all, the president used one word that I don't know whether it is playing out now. When he was called, he said it is his turn, Emiloko, to be. Now, these people who say our local, it's our. Remember that what is good for the geese is also good for the gander. Yeah. What is sweet to a pregnant woman is also sweet to the man who gave her belly. And this is balancing act. Every leader must play. It's not easy, but you need to play it and exhibit that transparency that you are doing it, because once there's suspicion, you have lost. And then this is what is happening. Most Nigerians have lost trust in all that our governments are doing. And the government is not doing anything to bring it together, engage the stakeholders and start building peace. Only while emergency. If there's any bad governance hashtag and the protest, that's when you move to go and see the monarchs, bring them in one off. But this should be continual. Okay,
Chris, taking a further look at the Daily Independent, and virtually all the papers had to carry the fact that PDP is summoning Wike. I know it's been long awaited for a lot of people, but there is a headline that somewhat connects some activities. It says, Gubapo, stop harassing our members in Edo. PDP tells Tinubu IGP. So they were not several people. There were 2 people PDP is directing there. Stop harassing our members. When
people are harassed in a country and you suspect it's the police that are doing the harassment, you first speak to the president to take note. It's not that they're not saying it's Tinubu that is harassing them, our president. So? It's not that it's IGP that's harassing them. But then what we are saying that IGP and the Tinubu can make statements or can take decisions that can stop when anybody is being harassed. That's my understanding of the headline. So that's about it. So if they have called for it, so that the dopus will not keep consuming the heads of people.
Do you think it's just that it's seen one way like that? Or is there a possibility that there is a threat on PDP party as a whole in Edo?
No, the challenges of being incumbency in Nigeria, the challenge of that has been much. If a party is in place, it's always difficult. It's the highest level of challenge for you to be a leader. If I am elected on the ground of maybe a party, and then I am the chief security officer, and the election is coming, and the other party is challenging my A party. Nigeria, that's why we are still where we are. That development level has also affected our psyche. We are not developed here politically. So when a winner takes it all is what we are doing. And that's why it's difficult to get peace. If you play a group, whenever you do your politics and get to a position of authority, say, I am a governor for all, not for any, then you take your decisions also should feature that. If anybody, you even begin to show example with your own, then people will say, hey, this particular man is objective. But here in a country where we show very clear subjectivity in our decisions, especially when it favors us. So you forget that things might turn. That's why it's always difficult to change any sitting government in Nigeria. And before you do that, a lot of people will die.
So what do you
hates will roll according to Idi Amin, the Kakwa custom of Africa.
And I know,
God forbid.
That too. But Wike's case, you know, there's
I want to get to that one.
Wike to face disciplinary committee for anti-party activity.
Let me tell you one thing. When it was your turn, a court advised you, which people said is wrong. The executive governor of Chioma State, the leader, the party leader of Chioma State, you booger, you enjoy. When your tenure is over, for you to step aside, you want to be on the side and be leader of a party. When it was your turn, you enjoyed. And somebody is in position who should be the leader of the party in the state. You refuse. You are dragging it. And then the party said, you enjoy the same position. Why not allow this young man to breathe? Advise him from far. You are still powerful. If we want to use the word which people have ascribed some negativity to, if you are the godfather, or the god-grandfather, or the god-great-grandfather, or the God himself, stay, God it from far, and show some element of maturity, that your life does not depend on this. Otherwise, if you are creative, you still use the whole loyalty of their people, and still, even from far, you are pulling strings, people will see. But this idea of having two captains on a ship, what do you think the ship will do? If it doesn't sink, it will sink.
And remember, he threatened most PDP governors.
Openly.
Yes.
And we reviewed it here. So when they're saying, let them not, PDP not allow Wednesday be or fight, because you don't allow a madman inside your house for a fight. Take the fight to the stadium, because in your house, now your TV go break. Now your sitting room will be scattered. So this idea of saying PDP is having convention, all these ones that are pushing PDP that Wednesday should be all fight for all, is not left for PDP. I'm not the advisor. I don't know how much they will pay me. I don't care who they are. I'm not a politician. You can run your party. You can belong to any party. But if you're a party, you find out that somebody is bringing, they say, life is sweet for everybody. When they want to take your own, if you don't know what to do, swallow it in your stomach.
I think the reason for all this banter, this up and front is the issue of national cake. Everybody wants the greediness of, you know, eating the national cake and remaining, they want to continue eating it.
And that's it. The cake has been eaten and eaten and eaten. What is left now is this. And we have a lot of, the few people eating the cake, and if they cut our own portion, they don't bring it home. That's our concern. Okay, so let's leave the...
Yeah, look at this one. And bad governance. Lawyers Amnesty International kick as court remands protesters in prison. You see the right that is abuse of power. And police declare British national wanted. And still see that protest, not treason. Britain replies.
That is it. Nigerian constitution said you are free to protest. It's only this era and this generation we are hearing that people who protested and they have a hashtag are taken to court. There are issues where court struck out the issue of treason. But in this northern Nigeria where they have about 5 states trying, yesterday we were saying, why trying all this, making it event? Is it not distraction? Why not do selective so that tension could cool down? You want to try all this, and you come out this morning and said some are being held for treason. I do not know. But let it not be that if you are using the bad governance protests as an avenue to give a dog a bad name, so that you will murder it real bad.
Yes.
It's detested. The Briton, Nigerian Briton or whatever, if he's shared citizen or is he purely a Briton?
His name is actually Briton.
Somebody said it's 20 million, somebody said 200 million. We better know what the ransom, the booty they put on the man said. But I ask, if it's really treason, and you're putting this on the head of the guy, as what? Is it that our presidency is what? 200 billion or 20 million, whatever the figure is. Why all this? It's cheapening everything and making a mess of. If, like you said, if you have decided to go and gather bitter leaf soup, bitter leaves, and want to remove the bitterness in it, when you test your fingers, you will still taste bitter. Let nobody, and this is our prayer, and let God hear it. Let nobody go and start facing issues you do not know about because of politics. People see somewhere and gather lies and put on head of some people just to make sure they suffer and put them. The end bad governance. People are trailing the fearless October. Nobody will say it's treason until they go to the street, you gather them and say it's treason. Start tracing the treasonable felony in hashtag of protest all over the world. I've not had it. That's why I tell you, Nigeria is a country where you have to be careful and study. You can't know Nigeria. Nigeria is all the millennials, according to my people, all the millennials. No, so what else do you want me to say? When you lack words to start talking about the country Nigeria, in the history of Nigeria, this is the first time. What do you know about treason? When people plan and go, a living legend in Nigeria went to the radio, Western Nigerian television, took over there and announced, and he was charged for treason. He still grew up in Nigeria to be a Nobel laureate winner. I'm talking about Woshoinka. Those are clear cases of treason. These boys said, we are hungry, they were facing hardship, and they mobilized and went to the street. And all the play cards they're holding, everything they were showing were saying, hunger, do this for us. They never say, probably if they say, if President Tinubu cannot solve a hunger problem, let him resign. Maybe if they use such words, maybe that's what it is. But the court will interpret that if anybody say, resign, you are not doing any work, then he says it's reasonable fellow.
How is
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Can they actually explain it? Because remember, something like this happened in it's not even beyond, it was lesser. The fact that the citizens of Israel they gathered at the road that led to Benjamin Netanyahu's house. And they were like, you're not doing anything. You're not releasing hostages. And that's just hostages. They're not struck with hunger and hardship. And nobody is charging them for treason.
It happened in Kenya.
So why?
And the Kenya own trended that we are warning Nigeria. It happened in Kenya, very close. You are going far to Israel. Have you heard that all those boys, they were making some sensitive statement addressing the world press?
Yes.
Have any of them been charged for treason
because
in Kenya?
Because they know it's their right.
So if, and that's why the world is getting interested. The British government has said, there's nowhere in history of the world that protest is treason. So Nigeria and all the people shouting treason should be careful. Establish the case of treason before you say it. Because treason is not something you come up to say. It's a matter of life and death. When people do not know when you say you commit treasonable offense, it's you're paying with your life. There's no, if you know the history, go and read your constitution. So it's not something you wake up and just put it on. Unless it's somebody just one dead. You come up with such. It's not flimsy. It's a heavy accusation. And that's why we say, let all of our people be careful. You just don't wake up and manufacture words because it's too sweet in your mouth. Even treason is not as sweet as it ends because, like my people say, akrilu, that's a bitter cola.
Yeah, it does not.
It's not the way it sounds in the mouth. If you know the meaning, now you can just say, I look at you and I say, you committed treason. You know what that means? If you know deeply, you know I don't want you alive. That's what it means.
I think the government is faced with this threat because of the impact of the bad governance. end bad governance protest that happened. I think it was a great impact from the people's side.
That's actually why Chris is here, so that he
if you're a governor, if you're in governance position in any level, you expect that people will say their mind. I say democracy. That's why it's difficult for us. Democracy, every Nigerian want to, as fair weather friends, fair weather people, when democracy is all SUV, good. All presidential jet, all Escalade, all yacht, all living in, using 21 billion to repair the vice president house. But when it comes to taking responsibility and somebody said, let's sit down and talk. You didn't get it right here. Can you do it better? It becomes, the eye will open. That's our level of democracy that we need to work upon. Enjoy your position as anybody in governance. If you're a president, the highest position in Nigeria, nobody expects that you suffer. But also take responsibility when people say, why not to review this policy? You don't just bold up and say, you all know it. A bad leader, in my proverb, they say those are the ones that we went to the back house. For some people are having their breakfast, I want you what he went to the back house to do. And then he was messed up. He came out. Because he said, I am Ezonyagbanam, no talk to me, no talk to me. He's booger. He went to the market the same way. And people were looking at him and said, they were looking, everybody said, Ezonyagbanam. So look at him, his clothes are all messed up. He's walking the street. Because he said, he went and took the title, Ezonyagbanam of Ezonyagbanam Kingdom. If that is where Nigeria is going, good. No, then it becomes, let's rewrite the constitution. Because people are calling for constitutional review. Put it in the constitution. No protest. Once I'm there, don't even say whether I'm doing good. We all say, so when everybody is campaigning, you know that you are inheriting Ezonyagbanam democracy, Nigerian version. And then you sit that there, when it's 8 years, you go. Because with the Ezonyagbanam kind of position, nobody will even come out when it's another 10 of election and say, hey, I'm coming out. Ezonyagbanam will say, who born you?
But isn't it ironic? Because this same presidency, Tinubu in person, chaired and led protests during I said governor, His Excellency.
Now you they talk now.
No, but I'm not talking. It's out there.
I'm not saying you are reminding me.
When Goodluck Bailey Jonathan was president, he successfully led a protest, and nobody charged it to be a treasonable offense. So why is the tide somewhat changed?
It's only President Tinubu who can answer that, because the visuals of occupying Nigeria, it was an event. Big event. All the non-Nigerians went to the street. They were having tea party. Good luck must go. And they celebrated over time. Police protected them. They were addressing all the big people, including the sitting president, were addressing the gathering every day, reading out words. President Jonathan said, I am on record the Nigerian most abused and insulted president. But it will haunt you, people. If it's a curse on Nigerians, that's what we're facing. The same people who benefited. Some of the people went to universities abroad with the sweat and blood and sweat of community effort. And this funding of charity organizations. How many charity organizations are they running? When they are here amassing wealth, and even the people that say, don't give us charity, don't give us, allow us burrito, it becomes another thing. No problem. Oyo deploy CNG vehicles. Wonderful. I thought they were saying only 30 given, but Oyo is deploying 20, meaning they inherited more. They are deploying only 20.
They actually
That's a good
asking
news.
For more.
But the woman in Canada, it brought another issue of what they called, subjective, selective treatment. I was listening to somebody who was analyzing. Let me tell you a story. One young boy went and they smoked ganja he came back to his mother's house and he was having the effect running over his brain. And he didn't know he was coming. The whole family were watching television. The young man was trying to pass. So when they stopped him and said, "We are here, why are you?" So he did not want to disrupt anything. And then the guy said, "Is he not in this house? Father, we live, and our brother died." He said, "Yes." He said, "Is it not in this house that we are here? You lost your job, Father." He said, "Yes." "Is it not in this house that we all of us are, and you lost your car, you sold your car, we don't have a car, a family car here." He said, "Father, can any people help to carry this house? Put it on my head. I want to dispose the house." Is it not in this country that we have had people who hashtagged Igbo must go? Is it not in this country that during the election, some people say, if you come out, and even, is it not in this country that so many things, that the advisor to the president, we are pointing fingers at people who were, and they didn't substantiate, who were sponsoring, the selective pointing out of people who were sponsoring bad governance. And they have gone to court. All the evidences that gathered, they didn't mention that again. Is it not in this country? And somebody in Canada, frustrated over time, said something. Every Nigerian, they've even gathered the Ghanaian government to query the woman or arrest her. It is selective. It is not fair. And we are watching. You know why? Not the same country we're there. And we are watching. So there are people who are meant to talk and it will waved. But there are people who, when they speak, Nigeria will catch cold. If that is the style, good luck, Nigeria. But when they say you clearly cause trouble for yourself with consciousness of causing discrimination, do this, whatever you sow, you reap. For it is a natural justice. Whatever you sow, if you sow discrimination, injustice, and fair play in Nigeria, and mark my word, whatever is bad is that, no matter who is doing that. That's my stand. So if I do what is bad, caution me and let me end the punishment that is proportional to that. Then everybody will see. Our country is selective. Some people commit offense, get away, some get it, and that's what tells you, if you say we are one Nigeria, that's why the country needs to convince a lot of Nigerians that this country is one. Until that is done, you don't show that we have many Nigeria, and you, when it favors you, you say it's one. That is selective too. And God help us. God help us.
Okay, Chris.
And we help ourselves.
Looking at everything that's happening, we have here on the Guardian newspapers that Oyedele BT awaits federal government approval on VAT increment, value-added tax. What's your take on this?
If Nigeria need to increase the VAT, they increase. But when you are increasing VAT, means more Nigerians will need to pay. Now, the ones you collected, if you account for it very well, and Nigerians see, if you increase VAT, we quickly pay. So it's not about every day you add VAT, how we can get money and mass fund. You know what? When a leader, a good leader, begin to use the subjects for dinner, breakfast, and lunch, over time, he will find himself alone because he will have consumed all the people who will help him. Over taxation is not good. But when you have need to tax, justify it with very clear evidences of what you are doing with the ones you collected. So tax increase in VAT is not out of the place for federal government if that will help them succeed. Insecurity and agitation in Southeast has made FDI, Development Index, trade in Southeast go. And I say, it is, you don't use Igbo to tell Oyibo man the same story. Because what the eyes can see, everybody can see it. You don't see where you go and die and you walk in there, see death and walk black. There is high level of insecurity here. And what people do now, all this one we talk about in the Southeast, I don't know Southeast and Northeast, which one is now. What are the Easts? Are the Easts? Okay. Are they caused with the insecurity?
Seeing that it looks like, we hope that the Easties, if there's any word like that, they're not in trouble. But there is something, like she mentioned, The Guardian, that says households lament may spend 54.9% income on food, shun investment. You know, there is this headline. I think it was also part of, I don't think, it was also part of the news that citizens are going to spend most of their money they earn in food because of the inflation. What's your reaction to
Let me tell you one of the things that look like that in our debt servicing. My father-in-law told me, advised me, may he so rest in peace. He said, if there is no 10 inside the house, when 10 enters, it will vanish. You know what that means? If you don't have money and it's only food, and the food, mugu of gari, mugu of beans, mugu of rice, onions, tomato, are not affordable. And all your earnings are going into food. Remember what happened to food. Once it goes in there, it goes out. That's how the whole thing is going. But the money that will favor you and your generation is the one you invested to be yielding money. And if all we use our money to do now is to buy food because of high cost, there's no savings anywhere. Now the same thing, federal government keep borrowing and keep borrowing and keep borrowing, that we are using more than 50% of what we have to earn to service debt. That is where we said there's no free meal, and every Nigerian successive government has to begin to rethink. All these loans and loans, Nigeria is a country where people should come and borrow. But instead of coming to borrow from us, they are stealing our crude oil. Let it turn about the crude oil into borrowing. Borrow the crude oil and they give us the money version. Instead of allowing porous borders to steal. So that we don't use whatever we earn to serve it. That is a calculated attempt to keep Nigeria static, in fact receding. Not even if we are static, we're going back to national anthem of the old and go back to prices of, that means we go back, when we go back to that, we have receded beyond the zero. We are now drying up. And that's what the external debt, and our president is in China. He's going to discuss bilateral agreement and sign new deals. Beautiful. If his president, as Rock, is signing deals, so when they want to seize the presidential jet, they will know it's direct, point blank. Instead of you going through Ogun State, who borrowed money. It becomes the issue of dog eat shit, and the teeth of goat is spoiled. So if our president is there negotiating direct deal, getting us direct deal, he also might negotiate the release of his 3 jets if he's going to trade it in and get us the cash. We need all the cash we can get. We need all the deals we can get from China, but we have to be very careful, like people have called, because all that glitters is not gold. And dealing with China people, they don't play. They're not like Nigerians. They're not Africans. They are all out for what they can get. So whenever you're signing deal with them, remember, if you are the person signing deal forget, they will not forget. And if you're signing any deal with them, they sign in their language. Study the deal. Give it to experts to study over time. Don't be in a hurry to sign any Chinese deal. Because they write in Mandarin and all those things, but in Nigeria we write in simple English. But they hide some serious clauses in their local languages. And you will go there and think you're a sharp Nigerian and sign. So you and sign away a generation.
Written in Mandarin when the person you're signing it with is in Mandarin.
Yeah.
And then, yes, they do. They don't have any apology. They only give translators who are their own people too. And they are briefed. And they have what you call patriotism. They are not like Nigerians who are giving up on it. They, whatever level they are, Once they look at themselves, they know what they're talking about. And they can cheat a visitor, but don't kill a visitor. That's what Chinese,
Thank you so
their
much.
tagline.
That has been a wonderful round of review that we have there on Signature Morning on Signature TV. I need to remind us that we should all go follow us on all our social media handles at Signature TV Officials on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And yes, go subscribe to our YouTube channel at Signature TV. Comment. We need your comment. We want to hear what your take is on. This is your country. This is your world. This is Africa. This is us. You know, somehow, you know, there's an adage that Mr. Christian Maduka said. He said when something is happening to another person, you will think it's not yet happening to you until it gets to you.
Yeah.
So it might seem like it's happening to Nigerians, and you say, okay, me, I'm not part of, well, hello, even me too, but hey, but we are, it's still, we are in the world, and somehow Mpox started somewhere, and is in another country. We all need your comments. We need to know what your take is on what's happening in Africa, Nigeria. And for Nigeria Africans, be cautious about the bilateral relationship you want to sign. It's still signature money.
But by the way, Chema, you didn't tell us what day it is because you are good at celebrating day. Is it today's day of Chinese? You are doing too much. Is it Mpox Day?
Okay.
Oh, well, I don't
know.
know.
Today is actually the day, I think 1783 on the 3rd of August.
Let's be sure.
I know on the 1783 on the 3rd of August that a treaty was signed to end war. In particular.
Oh,
so still
end the war, end the war day.
No, I didn't say. So just still say to. We're going to reel out all you need to know about that. It's on Signature Morning. I did tell you that, so you always get it fresh. Do stay with us.